So this was my best online course launch ever, with 37% of the people in the launch ending up joining the program at the end. However, I made one big mistake that probably could have made it even more successful, and it had nothing to do with tactics or strategy. I'll tell you what that was here in just a minute. Plus, I'm going to share the one thing that most of the buyers had in common that I think made a big difference overall, and why so many people joined, even though this was the beta round of this program, and it'll probably get better in the future. I always like to share the good and the bad because I think in some cases we can learn more from what went wrong. But first, let's talk about what went right. So the whole thing was for my YouTube Entrepreneur System program, which is designed to help online entrepreneurs grow their audience, their authority, generate leads and sales with a YouTube channel. The launch mechanism was a 5-day workshop. A lot of people call them a 5-day challenge. I didn't use the term challenge in this case, but essentially it was a 5-day challenge. And at the end, people were invited to join the full program. And there was one thing that almost half the people who joined had in common. In fact, 47% of them had this one thing in common. Before they joined this program, they actually signed up for another smaller workshop that I had a month earlier called the YouTube Incubator. The whole idea was how to set up and optimize everything on your channel, basically everything you need for a YouTube channel to be successful before you start making videos. So why did this make such a big difference? Well, if you want to learn more about the YouTube Incubator, I've linked up to it in the description of this video. But here's why I think it had such a big impact and why so many people who end up buying the full program had gone through this first. Essentially, it was an opportunity for people to see if they liked working with me, if they liked learning from me at a lower price point up front. So I was able to build relationships with some of the people as well as build trust with them before we got to this course launch. So when you're looking at your own offers, especially if you sell at a higher price point, think about maybe something that you could offer ahead of time or before at a lower price point, just to give people a lower risk way to get to know you and like you and trust you. Another reason I think so many people signed up for this offer was because I really spent some time, half on purpose and half accidentally, talking about why YouTube is such a great opportunity right now. Anytime you're offering anything in your business, it's very easy for someone to say, oh yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that later, maybe later, right? You've probably had people tell you no if you do sales calls, not yet, maybe later on. But I'm so excited about YouTube as an opportunity right now, between the fact that they're recommending smaller videos or videos from smaller channels in a way they never have before, attached to some of the chaos that's been around Facebook and Instagram and TikTok in recent months. All of that together got me really excited about YouTube. So I spent some time in the launch talking about that, again, partially by accident because there's been so much going on, but partially because I'm so excited for it. And I think that resonated with people and that made people want to grow their business on YouTube, and therefore more of them signed up for the program. Now, of course, you can add urgency to any offer by saying, hey, this offer expires tomorrow night or whatever it might be. But for your offers, think about how you can really help somebody make the decision of whether or not the thing you're offering is right for them right now or not. I always say, hey, if this is important to you, then hey, let's do this together. If it's not important or you can't justify that this is an important thing, then it's probably not, and that's okay. Move on to whatever is more important in your life or in your business or whatever it might be. Two more things that went well in this offer, and the last one was a little bit of an accident, or I should say it surprised me. Then we're going to talk about what didn't go well so we can learn from that as well. But the third thing that went really well is the offer itself. Now, I am really big on making an offer so valuable to the person receiving it that I don't ever even feel like I'm selling. Sometimes people say, how do you feel comfortable selling? I used to feel so uncomfortable selling. But now I keep making offers better and better, and I'll tell you how in a second, that when I'm telling somebody about it, I'm like, hey, if you want to learn this or you want to achieve this, this is a really good way to do it. I don't know how that sounds. That might sound weird, but that's kind of the point that I'm going for. And there were two things that I really emphasized. So I wanted the offer to have people who were not ready or didn't want to focus on YouTube to not sign up, but also people that were ready to feel really good and comfortable signing up. So two parts of the offer. One was YouTube is not something that you're going to go viral and grow overnight, right? I did get my first client from this channel 11 days after I started publishing, but before I was getting regular things from it, it takes a little while to grow on YouTube, and I was very upfront about that, and I always want to be upfront about that. And so what I wanted to do was let them know that, hey, not only am I going to show you how to do this, but I'm here with you on an ongoing basis. And so since this was the beta round, the very first round of this course, and I'm obviously going to continue to make it better in the future, I told them, hey, sign up now, we'll go through the program, which is about 6 weeks, and then I'll continue to support you for 6 months beyond that. So I think that really made a big difference. And then the other thing was I made it so that there was a really generous guarantee. I called it the Love 3 or It's Free guarantee. So you have the 6 parts of the course, the 6 modules. And essentially I said, hey, if you go through the first 3 and you don't love it, just let us know. We'll give you a full refund and you get whatever you learned and downloaded is yours to keep. So that was the Love 3 or It's Free guarantee. So I think those two things combined made it so that even though this was a beta offer, people felt comfortable moving forward, again, assuming that growing their business on YouTube was important to them. By the way, some of my online entrepreneur friends think me offering like 6 months of extra support and a guarantee like that is like insane, but I'm confident enough in my programs that to me, I have no problem offering that, because if somebody gets in there and it's not right for them, I don't want them to regret joining, right? So I want to give them an opportunity to get out. And by the way, we've had 0 refund requests, so far so good. And the last thing that went well, and this was the one that kind of surprised me, is I like to offer a private podcast feed of the lessons or anything like that when I'm doing a 5-day workshop like that, right? It's a lot for somebody to show up and take a lesson, even if it's only 15 minutes, 5 days in a row. So we offered an audio replay of everything. And I've offered this in the past for busy people, and you'll get a few downloads and things here and there. Almost a third of the people in the workshop listened to the downloads in the private podcast. And I even had one person who never even logged in to the community and watched any of the lessons. She only listened to them on the private podcast. We found out afterwards because she said, hey, I joined the course, but how do I get in? And I was like, you should have already been in there. And she said, oh no, I just listened to the lessons. I never even saw anything you had with slides or visuals or anything like that. So I think this ultimately just comes down to meeting people where they are. So if they are busy or they're maybe not as visual and audio is helpful, if you can offer them multiple modalities to consume whatever it is you're putting out there, that goes a long way. Oh, okay, let's share what didn't go well. Is it warm in here? I've always paid attention to what didn't go well so I can learn from it, but I haven't always shared it publicly like this. But I know I learn a lot from it, so I wanted to share it with anyone who is interested, including the thing that I think definitely had an impact, even though it had nothing to do with tactics or strategy, okay? First thing that didn't go well is it was a 5-day workshop, and then after the workshop was over, I gave people 4 more days to join the full program because we weren't starting for 6 days after that, right? So I wanted a day in between to make sure everybody was taken care of before we kicked things off. But I was like, yeah, that's fine. Just anytime before Tuesday, you can sign up, no big deal. But after the live workshop ended, a lot of the momentum kind of died. So in the future, I might either add some more at the end or maybe add some breaks in between the lessons. So if it was 5 parts, maybe do it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, something to carry it into the next week. Second thing that went wrong is something that I should have done. It's sort of the basics of the 5-day challenge. Was I kind of got into a lot of different things, and 2 of the mornings I forgot to send out the reminder email that, hey, coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern is today's live lesson. Here's what we're going to cover. And on those days, I saw lower participation and lower engagement, which I'm sure led to lower numbers of people joining at the end. It's not that big a deal. We can't do everything in every launch, but that was kind of like a 5-day workshop challenge 101. So I should have been better about having checklists to make sure all of that stuff got done. Have you ever overlooked something basic in a launch or something in your business and you're like, oh my gosh, hopefully I'm not the only one who's ever done that? Another thing that didn't go well, it had nothing to do with tactics or strategy, is I didn't protect my energy and my health. I sort of take pride in being a recovering perfectionist. I was absolutely a perfectionist in my business for many, many years, and now I try and be a recovering perfectionist, which it means it still sneaks up sometimes. And unfortunately, during this launch, it snuck up. I kept seeing little things, oh, let me do that, let me do that, let me do that, let me do that. And so it got me away from what's most important to me, and frankly, what I'm becoming known for, which is, the whole idea of this channel, Done by Lunch Entrepreneurs, is a business you can run in half the time. And so I ended up getting really tired by the end of the week, more so than normally would happen for a launch. Even though I'm an introvert, so those things definitely take a lot more energy out of it, but more tired than that. By the weekend, I was sick. And so even as I came back the last couple of days that we were enrolling people, I did not feel very well. So I wish I had protected my health better during the launch, but I just kept noticing little things. Probably didn't have to do them, but I was like, oh no, I gotta fix that. I gotta get that just right, and that perfectionism snuck in again. Did you have a takeaway from this that was especially beneficial for you, or maybe you had learned the same lesson the hard way? I would love to talk with you about it in the comments of this video. And if you'd like to know a little bit more, there was definitely some other things that contributed to this online course launch. I made another episode or another video that you can find here on my channel all about what I did leading up to the actual launch. And I've linked up to that on the screen right here. You can click that and watch it, and we'll see you in the next video.